You're now tuned in to Downtown Hott Radio. I'm your host, Walil Archer. I'm my special guest, Cameron Gray. How are you today?
I'm fine, Archer. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I'm so glad you could join me and talk to us about your book today.
Well, I'm anxious to share it with you and your listeners.
Awesome. Let's talk about the name of your book.
The Illusion of Happiness. Yes, I didn't even have to think long about that title. It just came to me because I think it kind of sums up what the whole story is about. It's about how through our journeys in relationships, whether they're familial or romantic, how we sometimes create the illusion that the relationship is what it actually is not.
And what was the inspiration behind writing this book?
Actually, it was the lyrics of a song. Um, the first couple of lines, it's "Where do we start?" is the name of the song. How do we separate the present from the past? How do we live with all the things we thought would last that didn't last? And it was listening to that song, sung impeccably by Tony Bennett, and it was a whole story in 4 lines, and that was the way it started. That was the genesis for the characters and for the plot.
Okay. And how many characters do you have in the book?
There are 4 principal characters: Elizabeth and Michael, who have an intense relationship that lasted 4 years, and they separated for 7. He comes back into her life. Meanwhile, she now has a relationship with Julian, um, a, a good, kind man who's given her a whole nother way to look at relationships. And then her best friend and business partner, Aubrey. So those are the 4 characters.
Okay. And how did you come up with the characters?
Um, Partly, I would say, autobiographically, I approached this. Elizabeth is her childhood in the book is my childhood. Uh, there, I've known a Michael um, who's the principal character with Elizabeth. So I think it started there. And while it's not detail for detail what's happened in reality, it's kind of the general feeling of the relationship was based on something that I experienced.
Okay. Now, what do you hope the audience take away from reading this book?
I hope actually they look at love in a relationship differently than I think most people do. They tend to think that love is everything in a relationship. Once you have that, once you're in love, everything else is wonderful, or everything else that's seemingly important is subsumed to this feeling of intense love. But I think my point in the book is that when people break up, when relationships fall apart, it's seldom because the love is gone. It's all those little things. They, your outlook on life, your shared values, your opinions about the direction that your relationship's going to take, likes and dislikes, all of those things. Those are the underpinnings that tend to crumble and cause a relationship to fall apart. So I'm hoping people will realize the importance of having those things in place and see love as just kind of the icing on the cake.
Okay. And how long did it take you to write this book?
Actually, I have to say off and on for about 7 years. And I say off and on because it was never my intention to publish this book. I write because I love it. I've always written from a little child to now. And so writing for myself was always enough. But friends and family read this manuscript and they respectfully harassed me into considering publishing it. So I did, and that's, I'm glad I did now, but it was never my initial intention.
Okay. And at any time, did you experience writer's block while writing the book? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Um, not not writer's block in the true sense of the word. Sometimes I would, there was something I wanted to say and couldn't find the right words or the right sentence structure or the coming in at the right angle, as opposed to not knowing where the story was going to go. I always knew where the story was going, what was going to happen to the characters, how they were going to relate. So usually if it's just, finding the right words and such, I just walk away for a while. For me, I find if I go for a walk, because I live in a beautiful neighborhood, if I go for a walk, things will come to me, and I'll come back, sit down, and find the right words to continue.
Did you learn anything after writing this book?
um, I think maybe just more about myself, that I had the courage to do this. I didn't think I would, because it's a very personal thing, writing a story, whether it's about you or not, it doesn't matter. It's very revealing about who you are. So it makes you vulnerable. It makes you feel like you're sharing personal information. So you put yourself out there. Uh, it, in a way, I think that you don't, to strangers, of course. So I just found I had the courage to do that. So that pleased me.
Okay. Any thoughts of writing a part two of this book?
People want me to write part two. I'm not a big fan of serials. I'm not a big fan of sequels. I think the book ended the way it was supposed to end. Maybe not the way people would like it to end, but I have no plans to revisit the characters. I'd rather start something new. And I think when people read the book, they'll understand that I've said all that needs to be said about Elizabeth and Michael. They had an amazing love story, and I think people will see that in the book and be okay with not say part two with another character in the book or something like that. So, yeah, this is it for this foursome.
How many chapters would you say is in the book?
Oh, it's about 276 pages. I don't
Okay.
recall offhand chapters, maybe 30, 32, because there's short chapters. I like to write short chapters. It keeps the momentum going when you're reading. So, but about 276 pages. So it's not a long book.
Okay. Did you face any obstacles or challenges while writing this book?
Um, the, the the only thing I would say, when you write a book and there are people or a person in the book that's recognizable, um, you sort of question whether you can do that, and have the person know that this is based on him. So I think I went back and forth about changing him substantially. This was Michael, changing Michael substantially so he was not recognizable. But then I decided against it because who he is in the book is a really fascinating person, somebody that you can feel invested in knowing through reading this book. So yeah, I would say that with it.
Okay. Now, where can they purchase your book at?
I can get it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. I the easy way to do it actually is I have a website. It's KarenGrayBooks.com. And if you go on the website, all the links are easily clickable to order the book.
Okay. Now, as we begin to close out, any final thoughts or closing remarks about the book?
Well, I hope people enjoy the journey, what it is to rediscover a love that you tried to put behind you unsuccessfully. And that's what Elizabeth and Michael did. Their relationship was so intense in the beginning, and they just were never able to let go of each other. So I think understanding what memory does and how difficult it is to let go of something so significant to who you are. I think people will relate to that and enjoy that part of the story.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, Karen, I'd like to thank you for doing the interview today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So that's my time today on Downtown Hott Radio. And I'll see you guys next time on Downtown Hott Radio. Peace and blessings, everyone.